Mike here again from Atlanta Motorcycle Works, and today we're doing an in-depth look at this bike here. This is a 1982 Kawasaki KZ1000 M2. Yeah, you heard me right. It's a freaking CSR LTD thing that was transported into this. Over 500 hours in this particular build. The thing is a missile. We put our new ignition system in it yesterday. Gained 6.5 horsepower. So now this thing's putting out 131.5 horsepower to the wheel. Gonna ride it today, and that ought to be an experience. I thought what I'd do is I'd just start from the front and go to the back. Now I'm sure I'm gonna miss some stuff because there's so much stuff on this bike. So if you see something you want to know something about, or you have a question about something I've said here, just get in the comments. I'll get in there and help you out and answer your questions. So on the front of the bike, this whole entire front end is off a ZRX 1100. That way I got the big 43mm tubes, I got the super bike brakes, nice mag wheels. Pretty easy swap in into a KZ, just a bearing swap, and that whole front end will go into the chassis. We had a custom made Cognito clamp for the top because we're not running handlebars on this bike conventionally. These are ABMs, so they clamp directly to the fork tube, and they're completely adjustable for sweep, angle, everything. So you can custom tailor these to exactly match your favorite riding position. Brake wise, you can see obviously we got the Kiko ZRX brakes. We're running Nissan radial master cylinder on this. Very strong brakes on this bike. Move on back, this fuel tank, while it looks like a Z1 fuel tank, it really isn't. So this was a brand new reproduction Z1 tank, but when it got here we realized that it's not going to fit over the backbone of the frame on this bike because the frame is like this wide. So we ended up having to cut the entire bottom out of this tank. We cut the entire bottom out of the original tank and welded the original tank bottom into this tank. So it was quite the endeavor to get this fuel tank on here. Of course, now we're talking about this fairing. So this is an American Dream epoxy glass fairing designed for a completely different bike. So it was challenging to get this on the bike correctly where the headlights lined up, your handlebars have correct height, your mirrors, all this stuff. We had to take their bracket and cut it into about 15 pieces and remake this bracket. It's like a trellis, like a Ducati frame. We got about 30 to 40 hours in just getting the fairing on this bike. So a lot of work into this thing. And we have the Grumpy's oil cooler, which is a must for high performance motorcycles. This particular one will drop this oil temperature 20 to 30 degrees. Anytime you drop the oil temperature 10 degrees, you double the life of the engine. So very important when you're building high output motors. So like I said, this thing has 131 at the crank, which puts us at over 150 at the crankshaft. So very impressive for this bike. Running CR31 carbs with shortened spigots to get my clearance for my velocity stacks. When you do that, it does change the tune a little bit, so we had to compensate for that. But I went with 31s instead of 33s because this is a street bike. I'm looking for torque. This thing makes a buttload of torque. It makes 68 foot-pounds at about 4,800 RPM. It makes almost 80 foot-pounds of torque at 8,500 RPM. So this thing pulls really strong when you ride it. Go back to start moving towards the rear of the bike. From here back is all Z1 frame. We cut the entire frame off and grafted a Z1 rear subframe into this thing to get our lines correct for the duckbill, which he wanted to run. And then we're also running the Nissan brake for the rear caliper, this is all ZRX also, ZRX swingarm, 1100 swingarm. Made it right up to this bike, required very little modification. Had to change the spacers a little bit, but it was very easy to install this into the frame. Went right in. We reinforced the area that bolts the swing arm to the bike, the pivot area. We're running Öhlins black line rear shocks. Really good shock. And I forgot to mention that this front end has been completely revalved by Restomod. So very nice suspension on this bike, handles exceptionally well. Of course, you can't miss the money shot pipe. RC Sanctuary titanium exhaust system. When we got this thing, I immediately saw some issues with it that was going to be detrimental to performance. We had to modify the collector. They actually had the collector neck down, so we modded the collector to get a larger exit throat. The baffle that this thing came with was like an inch and an eighth in diameter inner baffle. That's not nearly enough to get the exhaust out of this bike. So we ended up having to take the silencer off. We built a jig to go into the back of this thing to center a hole saw where we could cut the welded baffle out of this pipe. Very stressful. This pipe was like $4,000. So we did that. We made a custom 2-inch baffle in it, put it back in. The difference on the dyno was 14 horsepower between the original baffle and that baffle. So some of you guys that don't think baffles are critical, I can assure you that they are. For good power band, it's all kind of sort of a package. This bike runs a complete digital control system from NWT. This one here specifically has an X21 system in it with the standard switches. You probably can't see this from there, but these gauges, so these are digital gauges that are pure analog. So I had them, these are from Speed Hut, because they'll customize your gauges. So the fonts, the faceplate, everything is emulating the Z1 gauges, but they're completely digital. So very high-end stuff. We're real happy with this bike. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go out and take this thing for a ride because I haven't ridden it since we put that new ignition system in it, and I'm curious to see just how much of an improvement we've got. So, like I said, if you have any questions about this particular build or any builds that you see online, please feel free to get in there and ask a question, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can with an answer. So, once again, thanks for joining us here at AMW, and I'll see you soon.